Welcome to this online paper session called Urban Transition within the Sustainable Places Conference. I'm Laura Zavala. I'm an energy modeling and optimization engineer, and I work in R2M Solution Spain. And I will be moderating this session. So we will have 4 different presentations within the session. Each presenter has 20 minutes in order to present, and also it would be perfect if you can leave some minutes in case people have any questions about the presentation, so that we can do the questions just after the presentation. So as Agathe is having some troubles to connect, we will go on the first place with the second presentation. That will be carried out by Ifigenia Psarra from Hanze University of Applied Science, Groningen, and it will present the work done on the Making City project about energy transition in northern Netherlands, seeking a balance between top-down and bottom-up initiatives. So, Ifigenia, if you want to share your screen.
Yes, of course. Can you see my title page?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Thank you very much, Laura. So yes, my name is Ifigenia Psarra, and I work as a teacher and senior researcher at the Hanze University of Applied Sciences in the Department of Architecture and Built Environment. Today, I am going to present a study that has been conducted in the context of the Making City project, which is a project focusing on energy transition in cities. I will start with some short overview of the project, and then directly we'll switch to the goals and the results of this particular study. So the Making City project is an Horizon 2020 project focusing, as I said, on energy transition, and 8 European countries have participated. It started in 2018 and is finishing coming November. And as you can see also in the map, every country is represented by a city, and Groningen in the Netherlands and Oulu in Finland are the 2 so-called lighthouse cities, where a lot of case studies and pioneering, let's say, methods and approaches are tested. And then the other 6 are the so-called follower cities, where replication approaches are implemented. So in total, there are a lot of partners, and in every city, also in Groningen, then there is a local consortium and so on and so forth. Here in Groningen, the municipality is the leader of the local consortium. Now, the Making City project is mainly investigating the concept of positive energy districts. So the idea is that more energy is produced within the boundaries of a particular urban area than it is needed, than it is consumed. So that there is a positive balance. There are 2 main pillars in this project, the more technical engineering one, and also the spatial and social aspect, which mainly relates to social or citizen engagement, the impact that these energy transition projects have on space and on neighborhoods and so on. in the REDREAM Research Center, where where we participate in this Making City the last 4 years, we focus on the spatial and social aspect. And within this theme, we could see there was first a kind of a preliminary study of scanning, let's say, the status quo or the current situation in Groningen city, which is, of course, in the north of the Netherlands. So what we could see was that there was already quite a lot of diversity in terms of energy transition in the different districts of Groningen, and various approaches also in terms of citizen engagement. What is very interesting to mention is that there is already a culture of citizens taking the initiative to formulate kind of cooperatives or citizen initiatives which try to actively contribute to local energy transition processes. And what is also interesting to mention is that in most of the cases, these citizen initiatives do not exclusively focus on energy. Usually they have broader interests and visions, such as we want a greener neighborhood, we want to improve the well-being or the quality of life of the citizens of this district, so things like that. And then energy is part of it. However, of course, every district has its own profile in terms of socio-demographics, in terms of built environment characteristics, and therefore its own challenges and needs, therefore a different approach somehow. And finally, what is a general conclusion is that, yes, there are these bottom-up processes. However, there is a lack of balance between the top-down and the bottom-up. So still, the top-down approach is the main approach. This study focused on this imbalance and explored ways of achieving a more equal, let's say, a more balanced way where bottom-up grassroots initiatives and top-down initiatives are collaborating somehow and are orchestrated into an effort to further progress with local energy transition. So we thought, okay, let's investigate what are the interests, what are the barriers, the expectations, and the challenges faced by the Groningen local citizen initiatives, because we think that in this way we can come up with useful insights into how to achieve this balance in the end. So a qualitative research study has been conducted 1 year ago, and then a thematic analysis of the collected data has been done. The data have been collected with semi-structured interviews with 4 local energy initiatives in Groningen city, members of the municipality of Groningen, as well as representatives of Groninger Power, which is a local energy intermediary. And the main goal of these interviews was to identify need and expectations gaps between mainly the municipality and the local initiatives, and also trying to explore potential solutions in order to bridge those gaps. The data analysis resulted in the identification of 5 main themes, and I will go through them right now. So the first one was, so these are, let's say, the 5 topics, let's say, that mainly emerged from all these interviews. The first one was, the need for professional support. This is a quote from one representative, like a key member of one of the local citizen initiatives, who said, to stimulate initiatives, it would be nice if there is a kind of a plan, a kind of a signpost, a route plan, so that somehow we know that, okay, these are the steps that we need to go, a kind of a manual, let's say, for local initiatives. And then in the discussions and that were taking place, it was quite highlighted that the role that these intermediaries can play is very significant into this. Because here in the northern Netherlands in general, there are Energie van Ons and GREC, and also the Groninger Power that was also interviewed, who are kind of more overarching cooperatives. They started as a local initiative. They gained a lot of momentum, and now they have a more overarching role, in the sense that they act also as an intermediary between the municipality and the different local initiatives. However, their role is not very clearly defined yet. And since it is quite hard to formulate a particular manual, as it was said, because every initiative has different needs, these intermediaries could play a role in coming up with, let's say, tailor-made advice within this professionalization process. And finally, what was also emphasized in these interviews was that it is important that there is a fixed municipal representative and that builds a long-term relationship of trust with every local energy initiative. Now, the second theme was about that there was quite often discussed that there is mutual ignorance. So, for example, municipality, this is again a quote from a member of a local initiative. So they know that municipality has particular programs and particular planning processes about energy transition. And of course, initiatives do not have usually a specific long-term planning about their actions and activities and so on. And this somehow results in the municipality not really taking the energy and the time to inform them about their plans, and also the initiatives do not try explicitly to come up with some planning that is that is embedded into the municipal approach, let's say. However, all of the interviewed citizen initiatives expressed the desire of being taken into account And ideally, they would like to play a specific role within this municipality, long-term planning, let's say. While on the other hand, the municipality was quite often inheriting a stance of waiting and see, and expecting the initiatives to become more professional somehow before delegating them particular responsibilities. And then that's how the third theme, the need for clarity, was emerging. This is a quote from a key member, again, of another initiative, who also happens to be a member of the city council. So yeah, she literally, she said, actually, we don't know how does that work. So we have some ideas, we have some plans, but then are we just supposed to start with those plans? For example, if we want to make a local heat storage, she says, then we, the citizens, have to do that? Or can we get particular support from the municipality for doing this? So actually, it was found that the local initiatives, yes, they do come up with some ideas. They do explore different options that are suitable to the context of their district, and then they need timely feedback from the municipality regarding the extent to which these plans are considered to be realistic or not, whether they will get particular support, and then in what sense. Is it on administrative, on legal, on financial level, and so on. Then some local initiatives even expressed the desire to also become somehow actively engaged into the processes of, let's say, to become engaged into a kind of a co-creation or co-design process along with the municipality when they build up the so-called municipal district energy plans, which, by the way, is a process that is happening currently in the Netherlands. So every municipality has to somehow come up with a vision. So every district should somehow get a general strategy about how local energy transition is going to look like, because they have particular time horizon also about when they need to become off-grid and so on. The fourth theme was the desired degree of professionalization, which varies a lot from initiative to initiative. Of course, all of those initiatives are formed by volunteers who do not have the expertise, or maybe some of those happen to have a work that relates to energy, but basically they are just volunteers who don't have plenty of time or energy to spend into this. And that makes these initiatives quite vulnerable, of course, and they are aware of that. So some of those initiatives express the ambition of becoming more professional, and they also refer to things like public relationship, creating a newsletter, and so on. So, but also content-wise, they want to get some more training, let's say, and grow within this professionalization field. However, there are also some other initiatives who do not have this kind of ambitions. And again, this variety actually asks for tailor-made approaches regarding the approach that the municipality in the end should inherit, and the way that they want to collaborate with these initiatives. And finally, the last theme was the importance of communication and collaboration, and not only in terms of the relationship between the local initiative and the municipality, but also among the various initiatives, which is something that currently is completely lacking. So there is not a specific platform or a structured, let's say, way in which all these initiatives can exchange knowledge or experiences, advice, and so on. And that would be quite helpful because, of course, every district is different, but still there are also a lot of similarities. And second, there are different maturity levels. So there are initiatives that are now much more experienced than others that take now the first baby steps, let's say. So this kind of communication and collaboration would be quite beneficial. And finally, in terms of like content-wise, there is also a need for platforms where data could be shared regarding, for example, energy consumption or the district plans and so on. So
yes, sorry for interrupting, Ifigenia. If you can finish this quickly, we have a couple of minutes.
Perfect, yes. So this is the last slide of the presentation with a couple of recommendations that summarize, let's say, the discussion and the conclusions of this study. So the first recommendation was that indeed a specific professional support framework is developed by the municipality. And in this framework, the role of the intermediary organizations is specified. The second recommendation was that there is a clear municipal point of contact for the local energy initiatives. So somebody who can, to whom they can direct themselves, they can get clear feedback, and maybe they can mutually decide about the role that these initiatives want and can play within the local energy transition. And finally, it is also important that the local initiatives are also becoming a bit more extrovert, and they also come up with clear vision and mission, ambitions and strategies, and they communicate those to the municipality. And again, the intermediaries can also help a lot to sharpen this kind of documents. And also, now, as I said, we are in a process of developing district energy plans, and these plans mainly focus on the technical aspect. But we think it's quite important that the citizen engagement and raising awareness aspects should also be explicitly embedded on those plans as well. And then also, there is a need for mutual agreements about the degree of professionalization so that the municipality knows what to expect, and the local initiatives also can then clearly ask what kind of support they need in order to achieve the desired level of professionalization. And finally, this collaboration within local energy initiatives should also become more concrete somehow. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I stop sharing my screen so that I can also see you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Ifigenia. It was a very interesting presentation, and very interesting conclusions from it.
Thank you, Laura.
So as I think there are no questions on the chat, and Carmen, we cannot hear you. No.
Maybe the headset, sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe type.
Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will give my computer to Carmen.
Okay.
So, Ifigenia, I was wondering if they agreed, if the local initiatives and the municipality agreed on what to do and how to do it, because it seems that it's only a problem of capacitation, but well, in my experience, sometimes they disagree on the path for the energy transition, and also these disagreements create power issues where they don't want to work with one another, and they tend to adopt a more conflictual perspective.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so it's very complicated. I mean, the ideal solution was that there is a manual, like, okay, so we are 10 citizens, very enthusiastic. We want to do something about local energy transition, and tell us what we need to do step by step. And we just follow these instructions, and that's it. But it doesn't work like that. So the profile of every initiative differs a lot, tremendously. There are initiatives that it happened that, there are areas where also the profile of the residents in general is different. They are more like, they're highly educated, they have more time, they have broader interests, they have more money to invest in this kind of initiatives, like, okay, let's create a small solar park here, or let's do something with collective heat pumps or stuff. So they are more willing to do it. And then there are other initiatives where the average educational level is lower, they suffer from energy poverty issues. So you cannot approach the two cases in the same way and have similar expectations. And the thing is also that there was never a clear discussion about this issue. So the municipality in general is very encouraging and can see the added value of this initiative. They are aware of the fact that this kind of local initiatives can catalyze energy transition processes, but there was never an official discussion, like to call all these, the representatives of these initiatives and say, okay, let's sit and discuss what do you exactly need from us and how we're going to organize it. And we hope that, also this study can help to initiate this discussion and put things on the table and try to find mutual agreements.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have
So,
a question.
yeah.
Can I? Yes, it's because
Yes,
I was involved partially in making city because I am from CARTIF, so
Yes.
I am a colleague from Cecilia. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing is that because when I present my chat, I have the same impressions that that it's very hard to work to do something in planning, and later that the municipality can take this for the real planning. So how do you expect to do it for provide the conclusions of the activities done by the citizens and the proposals, and how has been established a specific link in which, for example, I don't know, a department, a person in the municipality can make this link. Maybe the municipality is not going to listen or apply nothing, but at least to receive this output. How do you plan to do it?
Well, as I said, the good news are that the municipality knows that, is definitely aware of the fact that they don't have the manpower and the capacity in terms of time and expertise and so on to come up with tailor-made solutions for every district of Groningen municipality. So they now they know they have to collaborate somehow with the local initiatives, and they know that if indeed there is a kind of a balance between top-down and bottom-up grassroots initiatives, also the chances that plans and projects are successful, because there is also this phenomenon that, as you said, the municipality comes up with some ideas, with some projects, and then they quite often these projects are conducted from a pure engineering perspective without taking into account the needs and the desires of the particular area and what the people there need and what they like or what they are enthusiastic about and what they really find as a terrible solution for their area. And then these projects just stop. So now they realize, okay, we have to work with the local society. So there is a desire, still there is not a clear way of how to achieve doing this still within a kind of a tailor-made, as I said, way of approach. And now it seems also that the key for achieving this is these intermediaries. So, for example, Groningen Power, who was also a partner in the Making City project, who has now a lot of experience, a lot of expertise, and they can somehow advise the initiatives on how to grow, and on the other hand, how to communicate efficiently and effectively with the municipality about their ideas, and on the other hand, somehow filter this process and catalyze this collaboration with the municipality.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So can I please check if you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. Yeah, so thank you very much for all the questions. It was an interesting discussion. And now we will go with the next presentation, that it will be conducted by Carmen Valor from the Universidad Pontificia Comillas. She's going to present the work done on the REDREAM project, called A Framework for Measuring Stakeholder Engagement in Energy Transitions Projects. So, Carmen, yeah, perfect.
Well, I guess you can see the screen, right?
Yes, we can see it.
So I'm going to present this as a member of REDREAM, but the work that I'm going to present is the conclusion of the bridge group, and specifically the subgroup working on indicators of engagement, on measurement of engagement. But unfortunately, the other authors of this report could not attend the conference. So if you worked in projects, you know how important it is to measure, and sometimes all the difficulties in doing this. And that's why this work that we've done is valuable and relevant. So why is measuring necessary? Well, first of all, is to report project performance and to be accountable for the money you got, but also to track progress and change during the project. This is an important thing. It's not something that is done at the end. It's something that should be done on an ongoing basis, so that you can change the strategy if necessary. And it's also super important so that we gather a stock of science or evidence-based on which we can make better decisions. So measuring is also fundamental for learning, because in some respects, or considering consumer engagement, there are so many things that we don't know. So usually the managers say, but what's going to work better? And the answer is, we don't know yet, because we still need to do more measuring and publishing the results of this measurement. So sorry. So if you Google, or even in Google Scholar, and you try to find how to measure consumer engagement, you will find that there's nothing on that. So it's a super important task, and there's very limited guidelines on this task. So that's why we decided to focus on creating a set of a complete dashboard and providing a methodology for using it. So what we did in the subgroup was to first identify a collection of indicators, then characterize these indicators, and then establish procedures for measuring them. So we found 61 indicators to be considered to be added as an indicator. They had to meet these conditions. And what is innovative is that these indicators are classified according to type of stakeholder. So not all the indicators can be used with all stakeholders, and some can, some cannot. And they are also classified along the stages of change. So depending on the readiness stage of your users or the project, you can choose in the tool which one are more important. So the four stages are awareness creation. So this comprises the stage where you have to educate users or citizens, raise awareness about a particular energy or transition problem, and it also covers recruitment and onboarding. There's a second stage is the design of products, services, devices, or solutions, and on all the indicators that measure co-creation and co-creation outcomes. The third stage is implementation. So when we deliver the solutions to users and how they engage or participate or relate with these solutions and what they think of them. And then the final stage is exploitation, so the outcomes of what we have done. Each indicator is classified also according to these categories, whether it's primary or secondary. So the primary indicators, secondary indicators are calculated on the basis of primary indicators. So for instance, acceptance rate is the number of people that accept entering a project or participating in a workshop divided by the number of invitations sent. So this is a secondary indicator, and to calculate this indicator, you need to have the elements that make the ratio. They are also classified according to whether they are behavioral or self-reported. And this is important because this difference implies differences in the method for collecting the information. They are also different in whether they are numbers or semantic, so quantitative or qualitative. In the other subgroup of engagement, they found that we need hard approaches for measuring, but also soft approaches, because there are some stuff that cannot be measured and has to be reported qualitatively. And then we differentiate between whether the indicator is an input in a process or is the outcome of a process. And of course, in different stages, the same indicator can operate as an input or as an output. And all these classification stage, type of user, and all this, at the moment, the framework is downloaded onto an Excel file, so you can use the filters to customize and select indicators that better fit your project. This is an example of the Excel, the indicator, the definition, and the metrics, how it should be measured, and the Excel continues with all the classifications and a suggestion for measuring. So how to use this framework? So the first thing is, because this intends to provide guidelines for any type of user, research projects, but also municipalities or energy communities or anybody engaged in the energy transition. So the first thing is to map the journey of the stakeholders. Depending on your project, some projects start with a technology that it already exists and they need to test it. Other projects have to develop the technology. Some projects engage some different stakeholders. So the first thing is to track the stages. So and this is usually done in the use cases, and then identify the stakeholders from whom you want to gather information. And then once you have this mapping, you can use the tool to select the indicators that fit the stages and the stakeholders considered. And then you have to create a data architecture. So you have to probably use an Excel file, you have to plot or list the indicators, and then provide a definition of the indicator so that everybody in the consortium agrees on the definition. We found out that sometimes people infer or understand different things, so it's super useful to have it black and white so that there's no confusion. Then you also have to plan for the data collection procedure, knowing that some it will be collected by means of a survey, but others will be collected in in-depth interviews, and others will be collected by tagging websites or apps, and they provide a behavioral measure. Then you have to identify who's going to be the data collector. Sometimes it's the same partner that collects all the data, but sometimes this information needs to be fed by some other partner. So it's important to know who is going to provide what and when, and this is the time of collection. And then who are going to use the data. And here also you have to consider the GDPR and the regulation governing the sharing of data and among partners. And if you need to use this data with among partners, this should be reflected in the terms and conditions that users sign. Then it's necessary to develop the data collection procedure separately. So if you are doing a survey, you need to specify, to clarify all the aspects of the survey. How will you gather the questions, what the questions will be, in which platform, when it's going to be sent, etc., etc. And then you have to identify the approach to the dashboard that you have just created. And there are basically two approaches, and they are not alternative or exclusive. So the first approach is optimization. If you follow this approach, the data analyst should gather the information on a time basis as decided by the project, could be weekly or could be monthly, and report the information to the rest of the partners so that on the basis of the information collected, you can improve what you are doing. So if you are doing recruitment and you report the data weekly of what channels are working, what messages are working, and what are not, this will help people readjust the recruitment strategy, because otherwise we're wasting time and money. And the second approach is reporting. So an end of the process and then this dashboard will be used for reporting progress. And you should create dashboards for each stakeholders, for each of the stakeholder considered, or the stakeholder from whom you want to provide information on progress, as this will list the subsequent reporting. So the full report and it will be available at some point in this website. It's not available at the moment, and the working group is going to work on creating a tool that can be useful or can be used by anybody, an interactive tool that is easier to use by partners. And that's it. I don't know if you have questions or comments. One thing that I noticed with your presentation, Ifigenia, is that we don't have an indicator on well-being, for instance. And so I thought that this is something that we have to consider. So we only consider outcomes related with energy efficiency, energy flexibilization, energy consumption, but we didn't consider, and also energy empowerment, literacy, but all around energy, let's say. So we didn't consider expanding the indicators to measure like a broader impact, and this is something that I took notes so that we can improve this in the subsequent versions of the framework.
Thank you very much, Carmen. It seems a very useful tool for knowing the impact of the projects. I have one question. Have you already implemented these indicators and this methodology in any project?
In my project, actually, yeah. So we are doing this optimization approach. So we report monthly the results, and we inform the demo leaders, and they readjust. And they have been changing the way they're doing things on the basis of evidence. So this is working, this is not working, or they are not engaging with the app, or this profile is engaging, but this profile is not engaging. So let's see why this may be happening and what can we do about that. And it's a lot of work, but I think it helps like refine on the basis of on evidence, because sometimes we have lay beliefs that when projects are implemented are not confirmed. Like sometimes we work on hunches, but then when you have the data, you see that your hunch is not verified. So yeah, we have done that. But another problem is that in most projects, so all projects have to measure, but usually the measurement is not public, because usually this is a private deliverable, a restricted deliverable. So there's so limited knowledge on this, even on scientific journals. And maybe this is something that we should revise in a way, so that we are more transparent with the reporting, so that we can all learn from one another.
Carmen, for example, the Lighthouse projects like Making City and Matchup that now we present has a lot of evaluation frameworks to evaluate the social aspect of the energy solutions. So maybe you can take a look for these evaluation frameworks, and later for the process established in the project to evaluate the social acceptance of the solutions tested in the project. I don't know if you were aware of this type of projects.
Well, we I don't know if you are represented in the working group, but we did a review. So we used the project represented in the subgrouping group as the pool of. So we did a search in scientific journals. We couldn't find anything, and then we used ourselves as the sample of projects. So maybe yours is not. Maybe it's not represented in the working group.
No. It's because it's a specific call from the European Commission to develop or to test innovative solutions in energy and mobility and ICT sector. And there is a lot of documents about indicators to measure the impacts, but also the perception of the citizen and stakeholders. And in all these projects has a lot of information about this, but in special matchup has a specific or has more details in social evaluation. Now the project ends in September of this year, so maybe and all the deliverables are public, so you can't.
All of them are public, really?
Yeah, and most of them, yes. Only exploitation, because the project define some exploitation strategies or something related with the business model of the solutions. In this case, the project, the deliverables are private, but for the rest are public.
Okay, so I'll tell the subgroup, and maybe every year you have to expand and improve what you have done. So maybe this year we can enlarge the number of projects considered and input, and see if we can add something or refine something on the basis on this basis.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know if there is time for one more question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just a bit wondering about the optimization phase. Is this what does it really mean? I mean, is it something automatically done by the process, or is it like the researchers scan the data and they adjust? Or maybe if you could give an example of what just elaborate a little bit more.
So it depends on the stage, but so with recruitment, we did it by means of a survey to demo leaders, where they had to collect information of the things that they were doing, and so we calculated ratios of effectiveness. So and because we put together all the information, so we could see that this was working better than this thing, and then we give the information back to them so that they could readjust their budget, let's say, so where they were putting their money on. But it's easier in the participation stage, because what we did is that so this is the way you work in digital marketing. So is you do something and then you work with optimization logic. So you tag all the interactions. So we created, well, I didn't do it, but someone programmed everything, and we have a dashboard that changes depends on can change weekly or monthly or bi-weekly as you want to. And then I analyze the data, and I report back to demo leaders and say, well, this profile or in this demo, the participation is slowing down. They are no longer interacting with this, and they call the users and ask them questions. Why is this happening? And maybe they say because it's not working. So we go to the developer and tell him, you have to fix this. There's a bug, and this is why. So we are following this type of logic, but this has to be done with tagging, so with behavioral data, because you cannot do that with surveys, or users will be so fed up with you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So we will go with the last presentation, that it will be conducted by Ana Quijano from CARTIF. And she will present work done on the MatchUp project called Urban Planning Methodologies, Lessons Learned in the Definition of Replication Plans. So Ana, if you want to share your screen.
Okay, I am in the process.
Yeah.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it. Perfect.
Okay, well, good morning. As she says, I am Ana Quijano. I am working in a technological center named CARTIF, which is located in Spain. And my presentation is about the result of the project named MatchUp. As you may know, cities are responsible of more than 60% of the greenhouse gases. For this reason, the European Commission has established some initiatives like the city missions, the command of mayors, and the smart city and community projects in order to facilitate the energy transition of cities. And this can be climate neutral, sustainable, and smart places in the coming years. As you can imagine, to do this, the city planning is requirements in order to establish the path to help to reach this target. Well, MatchUp is one of these 18 smart city projects. It's almost ending to an end because September is the last month of the project. The project has about 20 million of euros in order to implement in reality about 150 innovative solutions in 3 lighthouse cities, which are Valencia in Spain, Dresden in Germany, and Antalya in Turkey, but also to develop strategic plans in these 3 cities, but also in 4 cities that are called follower cities, that are Ostend in Belgium, Kerava in Finland, Erlija in Israel, and Skopje in North Macedonia. Well, in the project, we are 28 partners. Some of these partners are working in the deployment of the solutions in each city. Other partners are working in the definition of urban plans in the 7 cities of the projects, and other partners are working in the dissemination, collaboration, and exploitation activities that also are done in the project. Well, it's very similar to making city, as you can see. Well, here I would like to present which is the replication plans. As I told you before, this project intends to develop city strategic plans, and we have developed 2 types of plans. One is named Smart City Strategic Plan, which include the city vision and the city strategic objectives of the cities for the year 2030, and later the replication plans, which include the solutions that the city needs to implement in the next years. In fact, we decided 2025. The management structure to deploy these solutions. This means the stakeholders to involve in the execution of the solutions. The replication plan also includes the economic design of the solutions and also the possible risks that can restrain the implementation of the solutions, and also to identify some mitigation measures in which the citizen engagement strategies are key, because some occasions the opposition of the citizens can block the deployment of the solution. So as you can see, all this output of the project is a valuable result, because the cities can use for the development of the Sustainable and Climate Action Plan, which is called SECAP, under the Common of Major Initiative. Also, I would like to clarify some terms used not only in MatchUp, but also in all the Lighthouse projects, which is the terms replication and upscale. When we refer replication, this is the implementation of the solutions in different local contexts. So in this case, the cities that have the solutions implemented in the Lighthouse cities are the inspirations from the follower cities, but also for other Lighthouse cities. So in case that a city decides to include some solutions implemented in other city, this is named as replication. However, upscale means when a Lighthouse city decide to implement the same solution, but in other area of the city. So these terms are relevant in order to follow the presentation. Well, how we have defined the replication plans? we started from the beginning of the project, defining urban planning methodologies. This from existing methods, but we merged different methods and used different tools that are defined by some research entities of the project in order to provide the guidelines to the cities to take decisions about which is how they can see in the future, and to define which strategic objectives they want to implement, which the financial model of the city, which are the solutions to implement, and the associated investment plan. So the thing is that the research entities have provided the methodologies and the tools, and thanks to this, the cities have as result the city diagnosis and a prioritization of the most suitable solutions to be implemented in each city. The thing is that the project has a timeline, so the replication plans were done at Mount 54, so almost 1 year ago. And the thing is that the cities can use the result obtaining from the projects, which has been done by external, by partners that are working in the project but not in their cities, and they can use this output in any time to develop the SECAP if they don't have this plan before, or to update the ongoing SECAP at any time, because this can be done in different moments. However, since the project has specific steps, the evaluation done to the actions implemented could not be included as a result to be analyzed and included the result or the consideration in the replication plan, because in this project all the actions implemented, around 150 actions, have been evaluated in terms of energy savings, CO2 savings, economic performance, and also has a lot of evaluation in terms of social, not only social acceptance, all the solutions implemented, but also the improvements in the quality of the life of the citizens involved in the solutions. Sorry, this is the last step, but yeah, okay. Which has been also the process followed to define the replication plans. Well, always the research entities that we have worked in the methodology approach, which are CARTIF and Ternalia, both in Spain, and also the Unibiconi, which is a university located in Italy, has the SECAP as purpose, because all the cities, or most of the cities, develop this type of plan. So in order to help cities to use the result of the projects, we have aligned our methodology with the methodology or the approach used in the SECAP. So the timeline of the plans are the same, 2030, and the sectors involved to consider solutions to be implemented in these sectors, as you can see, are the same, because in MATCHUP we are working in buildings and energy city infrastructure, also in mobility and in urban platform. The only difference is that the SECAP does not include the urban platform. So the digitalization of the cities is not something that is implemented or is an objective of the SECAP. Well, in order you can see the similarities between both processes. Here you can see that both processes has two steps, the city diagnosis and the planning. The purpose are very similar. The only difference is that the Commoner of Mayor is more focused in identify targets in terms of CO2 reductions, but in the case of matchup, also includes other city needs and city objectives. And also the purpose is the same. They want to identify actions to be implemented in the city in order to reach the target established in the planning. The methods are also very similar. For example, in the case of the city diagnosis, both processes work in analysis of the city plans, in establish energy city models in order to determine the energy demand of the cities or the future scenarios of the cities. We use indicators to establish or to measure the starting point of the city. Also, we involve citizens and stakeholders in the process of perform the city diagnosis, and to conclude on this process and perform key relevant conclusions about the city diagnosis, we apply a SWOT. The only difference is that in matchup, all these methods established have sometimes a high number of dimensions covered, because the Commoner of Mayor is more focused in the energy consumption, energy demand, and CO2 reduction. For the case of the methods established in the planning, is like the SECAP has not established any method to define these actions to be implemented in the city. But in the case of matchup, we established a PESTEL. We also define it long catalog, which include the description of the solutions implemented in the project, where we have defined it, which are the barriers found, the drivers, the economy design of these solutions, etc. And also we have done a lot of capacity building activities with the cities in order they can learn about a lot of solutions implemented in the project and also in the cities involved in the project, but not as part of the project. So at the end, the cities have learning a lot in study tours, in webinars, workshops. So at the end, they have a wide knowledge in the solutions that exist and the rest and the possible difficulties to find. So with this, they can decide what are the most suitable solutions to implement. Well, to do all this work and define the city plans, the partners working in the methodology have established which are the process to collect the city diagnosis and do the planning. And for this, we have prepared different templates in order to collect data from the cities. And with data collected, we have analyzed it and make some interpretation. So in these partners have guides and supported to the cities. At the end, the cities, when I say cities, the partners working in the cities have defined the smart city strategic plans and the replication plans. Well, this is the result of this is the action selected by each of the city involved. In order you can see better, you can here in this slide you can see the type of solutions that they have selected. This is for all the cities. So at the end, each city has decided a type of solution according with the perception that they have about the convenience of this solution. So most of the solutions already implemented in the project has been selected. Here you can see how the solutions can be new high-performance buildings or new high-performance buildings that have been retrofitted. well, because they have removed the facade of the roof, because they have or they will implement PV panels and batteries or smart controls for all the types of building, public, private, or residential buildings, tertiary buildings. Also, the solutions selected correspond with city infrastructure solution that can be large urban PV plants with storage, district heating and cooling, and efficient public lighting. And in terms of mobility, the city has decided to implement the charging station, mobility hubs, parking management, intelligent traffic management. And in terms of e-vehicles, each city has decided how the public fleet or the private fleet can be traveled with a lot of types of e-vehicles, from e-buses, e-cars, e-bikes, and e-motorbikes. Finally, also the cities have decided to implement some improvements in the urban platform that they currently have, and adding new data sets, or for those cities that have not a real urban platform, they pretend to design an open data platform which make possible to use the data for the citizens and the stakeholders and develop new services that help to take decisions to the city and also to do some business for the case of the companies. And finally, some non-technical actions that are those actions that can facilitate the implementation of the solutions, as can be the prosumer energy cooperatives and some financial schemes for make possible more efficient schools. Well, and the lessons are two. In one way, we have identified how the methodology has been assessed, because at the end, this methodology has helped to the cities to prioritize fields and domains where to act, also to define the city vision, the targets and objectives to reach, and also in special for the follower cities, this methodology has guided cities in the path to progress in the development of SECAP through strategic planning documents. Here you can see some of the results that we have provided to the cities, obviously with detailed explanation of the results, in order they can understand which are the energy demands, which are, in fact, where they should to act to improve the CO2 emissions and reduce the energy saving and reduce the energy consumption. However, we have detected that it's like how cities decide to upscale the demo sites. So at the end, any lighthouse city has decided to invest in a solution that has been tested in other cities. So this is, I suppose, is because they know that which they have implemented works, and they don't intend to starting work in another solutions that has not been tested in the city. Also, we have detected that the urban planning process established in MATCHAP is not always suitable, because it's not linked with the urban planning timelines for the cities. For example, when the project started, the city of Valencia has as commitment to develop the SECAP at the beginning of the project. So at the end, we have provided some results that they have not been implemented in the SECAP. But in any case, since the process of the SECAP development can be done in different moments, maybe they can use our result to update the SECAP. And also another remark is that it's a pity that the impacts or the results of the impacts cannot be taken into account in the definition of the replication plans. At the end of the project, in any case, we'll provide some recommendation about the replicability of the results. So, well, these results are not considered in the definition of the replication plans, but the cities and other cities can have these results and take into account for established future plans. Also, something that we have detected is that in the project is working staff from the municipality, but there is not a specific link with the staff working in the urban planning process. So, well, at the end, the cities, and this is more in the big city, in the lighthouse cities, they have already established some process for doing the planning. So the result of the projects can be very useful. In fact, this process of planning usually is subcontracted. So maybe they hire something to do the same work that is done in this project, but unfortunately, this link is not well established. Not in all the cases, but we have detected that this happened. And also we have detected that the requested data sometimes were not available, or if were available, we were not very, we didn't know if these data were reliable. So, well, this is something that can be told as something that is not a failure, because at the end, the methodology has been applied and the project has developed different urban plans, but well, this is something that maybe needs to be improved. So as conclusions, the methodology for defined city plans has been tested in 7 cities of the project, which are from different size and with different urban planning progress. So at the end, we can conclude that the methodology can be used for any city. This methodology has helped to identify the city needs, targets, and the most suitable smart city solutions package to allocate future investment in the cities. The replication plans, if they are implemented in the future, can put in practice bankable solutions demonstrated in the project and face the city's challenge identified through the urban planning methodology. And yes, match-up process needs some improvements in the implementation process. I think that a specific coordination at city level should be better, and also the result of the impacts evaluation should be considered to define the replication plans. The problem is that this type of the project requires the collection of data for 2 years, so it's not possible to put the results before. And since the evaluation is a challenge, it's not possible to postpone the definition of the replication plans, because to do it all these things at the end of the project is a challenge, because it requires a lot of efforts, and it's better to put in different moments. And also something that we detected here in Matchup and also in other projects is that cities have a lot of data, but sometimes the data are not available as a whole. So since some departments have some specific data that is not shared to others, and also we don't know if the data are reliable, because we don't have nothing to contrast this information. And this is all from my side.
Thank you very much, Anna, for the presentation. It was very interesting work and very well explained.
I have questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something similar to what we try to do with individuals, what you did with cities. But so I wonder whether the framework allows cities to see the impacts before selecting. So if they can say, so what would be the gains between putting batteries versus improving whatever in mobility? So do they get an anticipation of the impact?
Yes, we estimated when I told you before that we did a catalog of smart city solutions. We put some estimations that we think that this can be the impact of the solution. So at this stage of the project, the cities could have this information, although maybe there are some differences when the result of the impact is evaluated.
Okay, yeah, but at least they have some. And I was also thinking if any municipality can apply that, or so to apply this framework, they need to do the replication. They need to have some prior data. So I was thinking of small villages. Can they apply this framework or not? Because they need someone with the expertise and the data.
Well, the methodology is described in public deliverables, so they can have it, the methodology, but the problem is that the data is needed some tools to analyze the data collected. So at the end, the tools have been developed by research entities working in the project, but we can do this for the cities, but not yes. This is something that we do as
So
part
the research tools are proprietary. So you have to pay for using them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cannot do this with Excel or something like that.
No, we have the experts. We have
Okay.
yeah, and also it's sometimes, for example, we have tested with small cities like Kerava, that is about 70,000 inhabitants. So it's work for small cities, but it has the peculiarity that in some way these cities need to focus in an energy transition with renewables, because all the output is linked with implement energy solutions, mobility solutions, ICT solutions. So it's not suitable for a city that is not implemented this type of solution.
Well, yeah, it's a tool for decarbonization, right? And
Yeah.
this comes from energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if small villages could only use it if the region buys it, or a higher order unit pays for the use of them.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't understand that. Okay.
Yes. So here we have developed the methodology between 3 partners. So each partner has specific tools. So
I understand.
we work as a whole in the project, but for example, CARTIF has do something, but not all the methodology.
I understand. I understand now. Okay.
Okay, so I think there are no more questions. Finally, Agathe is not able to present, so her presentation will be recorded and available online once this is broadcasted. Thank you very much for all the presentations and the interesting discussions. I hope you enjoy the conference and that you find other interesting sessions.
Good.
Okay.
So thanks a lot. Thanks, Anna,
Yeah.
for everything. And thanks,
Yes.
Laura. Bye.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank
Laura.
you.
Bye.
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 Hello, I am Agathe Pharel. I am a research program manager for the Lighting and Urban Solutions Lab of ENGIE Laborelec, which is a research and development laboratory of the ENGIE group. And I will present you today a topic about the sustainable public lighting and how collaborative and multidisciplinary approach can help designing sustainable public lighting installations. So first I would like to start with a little bit of context about the urban lighting nowadays and what is at stake in terms of sustainability. So first, from an energy aspect, we have to know that public lighting represents about 40 to 60% of the electricity bill of a municipality, and that there are more than 300 million of light points worldwide, with a global growth of about 13% per year, at least until 2030. That is a forecast, and but something also really important is that about 75% of all these light points are from obsolete and non-efficient technologies. So, so obviously there is a lot of energy consumption from this asset. On an impact on biodiversity point of view, the public lighting has a huge impact on biodiversity, especially because about 70% of the animals and on the fauna worldwide is active at night and is accomplishing part of its life cycle during the night. That means that introducing a fragmenting element like the public lighting prevents the species active at night to accomplish their cycle of life, and that is resulting in repulsion, migration disruption, trapping, etc. Of the different species, and obviously in biodiversity loss. But there is also a social aspect going with the topic of public lighting, because obviously we are designing public lighting for the human being and not for the animals. And that is that public lighting is known to improve security and especially the feeling of safety of the inhabitants of a city, and also to improve the community pride. It has been proved that in a neighborhood where the public lighting has been refurbished, the neighbors are controlling better what's happening around, and that the criminality rate is decreased, during the night, but also during the day, because of the social aspect and the sense of community that has been developed, thanks to the refurbishment of the public lighting. So with all these aspects in mind, we can say that there is a great stake for sustainability in the public lighting domain, and that renovating traditional lighting to new lighting technologies will help improve first the energy consumption aspects of the public lighting, because 50 to 80% of energy can be saved changing from a whole technology to a new one, and also the longer lifetime of the new new lighting technologies, especially the LEDs, mean that there is a maintenance cost which is reduced because of the non-refurbishment of these light points, and that means that a return on investment of changing from a past technology to to LED can take is nowadays under 7 years. But new lighting technology also mean better lighting, especially a better control on the illumination, which allows to illuminate only where and when it is fully necessary, and that is a great benefit for the impact on biodiversity that we have mentioned, but also an improved in light quality. And by light quality we mean a better tuning of the light level and a better tuning of the light spectrum, especially the removal of some light wavelengths that can introduce disruptions for the biodiversity, but also for the human beings. There are also additional services that can be had on the public lighting infrastructures, especially about connectivity and networking, obviously because the light points are disseminated all around an urban area. So that can be a great place, a luminaire to put an electric vehicle plug, or a Wi-Fi or 4G, 5G antenna. And also we have seen appearing in the recent years some units for energy production placed on the light points, like PV panels, wind turbines, etc. Also, the public lighting dissemination helps deploying some sensors that will help better understanding the territory and the territory's needs, especially environmental sensors, which will help understanding better the different the evolution of a city, especially during climate change. We can see where the heat waves are striking more, and where humidity is improving. And from a social sensor point of view, we can monitor the use of the city at any time during the day or the night, to understand better how the infrastructure, the urban infrastructures, influence the way the people are enjoying the city, or on the other way, maybe being disturbed by some element. So from there, we have been working in the INHABIT project, which is a H2020 European project, on designing lighting for 4 different cities. The INHABIT project is focusing on the inclusive health and well-being in small and medium-sized European cities, and is managing innovative and integrated solutions using co-designing, co-developing, and co-managing systems. So it's very much based on collaboration in between different stakeholders in the cities, and it is mobilizing also already available but underused resources, and that point is really important for us as when talking about designing public lighting installations. So the whole project is relying on private-public-people partnerships. So in the first city of Cordoba, the focus is on a disadvantaged neighborhood, which is located at the outskirts of Cordoba, and there the objective is to co-design and implement urban planning elements inspired by nature, but also by the local cultural heritage that will help the inhabitants of the Las Palmeras neighborhood to enjoy better the use of the urban infrastructure and to be more present in the public space, and to recreate a sense of community thanks to these new urban planning elements. So from a lighting point of view, the specific objectives that are leading the choice in the new lighting installation is the access at any time of the day of the people to the greener areas of their neighborhood in order to improve the sense of well-being, also to improve the sense of safety of the inhabitants and especially of the pedestrians, and also to implement creative luminaires that will help creating a warm atmosphere and improve the sense of community in the area. Also, the important thing is that we are focusing on energy saving solutions, which have a limited impact on the sky glow, because Cordoba is known to host a really nice population of birds and of migrating birds, so we don't want to disturb any of them. Second project is focusing on Riga in a market a food court, which it's actually an ancient market which has been refurbished and which has been turned into a food court, but also a food market and a community place where business development workshops are happening and social events. And so there, because the focus is more on the food and how better food and better sourced alimentation can improve the well-being of the community. The idea is to introduce the idea of the energy saving in lighting and the knowledge about energy consumption, and also the aspects of the sense of safety introduced by public lighting. So we are going to do that through workshops organized for the inhabitants, but also for the local authorities. And also we are going to organize a lighting event where the spectators are also going to be actors and are going to deploy their own solutions in terms of lighting, and we will provide them lighting elements, and they will illuminate their community areas as I like it. So that's also something we are looking forward to. Then in Lucca, the objective in the Lucca city in Italy is to reinforce the human-to-animal bond and to look into the impact that pets can have on the well-being of the inhabitants. So to do that, to improve this human-animal bond, it has been deployed urban elements such as parks and specially designed public areas for training dogs, and those elements have been placed in parks. So the idea with the lighting is there to introduce public lighting, which is disturbing as less as possible the biodiversity already present in the park. To do so, to monitor the impact of public lighting, we are going to deploy specially designed devices which are recording the different species of birds, bats, and insects. And the analysis of these recordings is going to be performed by the French Museum of National History, and is going to tell what is the status of biodiversity in the area. This is also a good element for education, because the results of the recordings are going to be available live when the devices are going to be installed, and the online platform that can help visualizing these recordings is going to be used for engagement of the school of the pupils in school, and for raising their awareness about the impact of urban elements on the biodiversity. Last but not least, the project in Slovakia of INHABIT is focusing on the city of Nitra, which is establishing a reversible multifunctional urban landscape near the river Nitra, and which is relating a secluded neighborhood with the city center, also deploying social, cultural, educational, and sport activities. The innovative lighting solutions that is going to be implemented there has to be independent from the electricity grid, because the area on which the project is focusing is natural and there is no electricity there. So what is going to be deployed is a line of autonomous lighting, which is specifically designed to be used by bicycles and pedestrians. And it is going to be monitored, so we are going to be monitoring especially the energy saving of these luminaires, and the illumination is going to be tuned so it's impacting the biodiversity as less as possible, using amber light and really low light levels. And that these autonomous lighting are going to be deployed in order to improve the accessibility of the community center for all the neighbors. So yeah, that's also something that is going to be implemented soon. So, but the perspectives and the key learnings of the INHABIT project. We have been starting with this project not knowing exactly where the lighting projects will be evolving in each city. And what we have been observing is that the lighting projects are really territory dependent and stakeholder dependent. So depending on the objective of the stakeholders for their territory, they are going to be designing completely different lighting infrastructures. So we have been understanding that the stakeholder engagement is key for the project's success, and that some digital tools will be of help to perform this stakeholder engagement. And also the key performance indicator of the INHABIT project will help disseminate these good practices and replicate them in other projects to designing better sustainable public lighting. Thank you very much for listening to me, and please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any question about this topic. Thank you very much.